Hey, Pippa.
Hi, Andy.
We're back.
What year is this?
It's 2021.
What happened?
Let's not think about the last 18 months.
It's like we've been asleep, like Sleeping Beauty.
And we're back doing the Showstopper podcast.
That's right. It's the kiss of the prince you thought you didn't know you were waiting for.
This is the Showstopper podcast from the people who brought you Showstopper the improvised musical, with people from the world of improv or musicals, and we chat and make up songs and have amazing guests.
Yeah, it's generally just a great time. Record it here at the Museum of Comedy in Bloomsbury, and that's where we recorded before the pandemic. And this is where we're recording after the pandemic because we think nothing should change.
Absolutely.
What was your lockdown like, mate?
I mean, to be honest, we saw quite a lot of each other during lockdown, doing all of our online work.
That's true. So, I mean, I was asking for the listeners more than myself because
Sorry, I forgot that you don't care about me.
No, I don't care.
It's an artifice for the sake of this podcast.
I have to listen to you bang on about what's going on all the time.
We did some online shows, didn't we, Pippa? We did our online kids show. We did some live streams. We did some hybrid live streams from theatres and online at the same time.
Gosh, I forgot about those. Yeah, you're right. We did do those.
You forgot about those. I aged 25 years organising those.
I think that's why I blocked them out. Yeah. So it was a lot of stress, everybody. We had to learn a lot of new skills in 18 months. I mean, it was almost like going back to school, wasn't it? Like learning a whole new way of being. So finding a way, how do we do this really live show that's completely dependent on the audience and is about the experience of being in a space together? How do we make and honour that online? And guess who figured it out? Only Andrew Pugsley.
Hello. But now we're back in real theatres doing live shows. Not going to leave the live streams behind completely. We know a lot of people who maybe have difficulty getting to theatres have different access requirements, particularly like the online shows. So they've not gone away, but we are enjoying real live audiences.
Yes, we are. We're just absolutely loving being back on tour around the UK. So do come and see us if you can. But the only thing we couldn't figure out how to do online was the podcast, because it is really dependent on the other person being in the room so we can improvise a song, because that's our USP.
Otherwise, we're just people talking like every other podcast.
Exactly. So the bit we love the most about doing this podcast is the bit where we get someone to sing. And goodness, can't Louise Dearman sing?
Oh, my word. Yes, this is a treat. This week's guest, West End superstar Louise Dearman, has quite the voice on her.
Really quite incredible. And she said, I'm quite nervous about improvising the song. And let me just tell you now, she knocks it out of the park. If maybe you don't know Louise Dearman, where have you been? Well, she's been both Glinda and Elphaba.
Not at the same time.
Not at the same time. She's not drawn a line down her face and just turning side to side.
Although that is now going to be Pippa's 2022 Edinburgh show.
Yes, well, actually, I might just go and audition for Wicked because you know, people are having to tighten their belts, aren't they? So if I could provide the solution as to having to pay for two people, maybe that's the way I get into Wicked. I don't think I'd be very good in that show because I think I'd wink too much.
You think?
There'd be too much wink. I can't. I think I find it hard. I'd be singing Defying Gravity with a wink. I'm defying gravity. Wink. Yes. Anyway, I digress. I think we should listen to the podcast.
Yeah, we recorded this back in October at the Museum of Comedy. Duncan Walsh Atkins was on keys.
Andrew Pugsley and myself, Pippa Evans, were on vocals, and Louise Dearman was our guest.
Let's have a listen. Welcome, Louise Dearman.
Hello,
Louise Dearman.
Hi.
We should maybe tell you that we've not recorded a podcast for like 18 months. So we're kind of remembering how to do this.
And I've completely forgotten how to do an interview or how to speak to people properly.
Great.
So this will be good.
It's a learning experience for us all.
It is a learning experience. So first of all, just thanks so much for coming because we think you're a bloody star.
Oh, at least someone does.
Oh, I think lots of people do.
I'm kind of just fascinated as to how you kind of decided this was a career you wanted, mainly because Wikipedia says you had a dance class when you were 3 and then you were in the children's choir of Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat, which if that be true, I'm so jealous of you because that, like when I was 8, that's all I wanted was to be in the choir of Joseph. And then that was The Star Was Born.
Well, Wikipedia has been stalking me because they're correct.
Is that right? That is the story.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I went to start like little ballet classes when I was 3. I started, and it was just a hobby, and I loved it. And my parents just said, as long as you're enjoying it, you crack on. And it wasn't until I was probably 12 and I started singing lessons. And that was only because I was doing dance competitions and my mate was getting to do song and dance. She was only allowed to do that because she was part of the singing lessons and I wasn't. So I had to join the singing lessons to be able to do that. So I did. And they discovered, oh, she can sing. There's many years of practicing with the hairbrush in the bedroom. And then I kind of started to, watch and take an interest in musicals. And at my normal school, my middle school, we auditioned to be in a choir, and that choir auditioned for Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, the Palladium.
Oh my God.
Philip Schofield as Joseph.
Schofield.
Lindsay Haitley as narrator.
These are the ultimate people playing the parts.
I was there with my green beret and my plaits, and it was honestly amazing. And I think that's the first time I thought, these people are doing this for a job. They get to do this every single night. I want to do that. So that was the first time I said to my mum and dad, I'd love to do this. And so they sent me off to a few summer schools and things. At the college I ended up going to train for 3 years, Lane Theatre Arts. And yeah, it's just been honestly just a part of my life since I was really little. Nobody in my family is musical or into performing, so it's kind of strange that I got into it, but it's just been my life since being a little tot.
Oh, so great to hear someone talking about I had this dream and then I realized it, It's such a nice sort of refreshing story. Here it is, it occurred, and to see you constantly doing all these amazing roles. So I feel like we should mention what I think is the most incredible fact about you is that you have been Glinda and Elphaba.
I know, greedy guts.
But that's so incredible because no one else has done it.
I think people have understudied both, but I believe that nobody as yet has been cast as both.
And this is nobody in the world, given Wicked is like in 500 countries.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Stephen Schwartz himself said the other night, and I went to a viewing of the Theatre Channel episode that I did, and he was there, and he said the same thing. He's like, no one else has been cast yet. He said yet, so probably there will be. But yeah, very, very proud of that. It was enough to have been Glinda for 2 years, but then to go back and play Elphaba was mental, but the stuff of dreams, it was amazing.
Yeah. Also, the stuff of dreams is being able to rattle off the sentence Stephen Schwartz said to me the other night.
Had to just really focus, concentrate. I know that could have gone wrong, but no, it was brilliant. And I think what I'm most proud of is my sort of slow, steady climb up the ladder, I think. I did understudying, and I was a swing. For anyone who doesn't know, is when you kind of cover lots of different ensemble parts. I've done really small parts in big shows and big parts in small shows, tons and tons of touring in my 20s, and felt like I've kind of grafted almost and worked my way up to the biggest point in my career of winning the role of Glinda. And then leaving that to do albums and concerts. And then the production team and creative team called me and said, why don't you come and audition for Elphaba? And I thought, well, listen, it was always in the back of my mind, but I'd never have asked for that because I don't think I've got the guts to do it. But so it was their doing completely.
And what was it like coming back into the show when you knew the part Glinda so well, and then switching and becoming the number one lead?
You'd think that it would have been really, really difficult and weird to be on stage,
opposite yourself.
Yeah, opposite the part that you've played for 2 years. But actually, I think there had been enough time in between for me to go back with a completely fresh, it sounds really cheesy, but with different eyes, and just tried to almost strip that out of my mind. The only time there was ever confusion was when Glinda and Elphaba both sing in duets. I'm thinking, what harmony am I doing? Do you go down? And I still get it now. If I sing for good, I always do the Glinda part.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, do I go up or down? It's just that, but that's the only time. But I loved it. I love playing both roles. I think for me, Glinda was probably a lot more suited to me because I love a bit of comedy and I love acting the fool. And she's just such a quirky, bubbly, multi-layered character. But Elphaba also is just a beautiful role to play as well.
Yeah. Though much longer in makeup, presumably.
Much longer in makeup. I don't know, actually.
really?
It's pretty quick to get that green on and off. I mean, you're always left with a bit of a green tinge.
Wow.
And you always get a little look on the tube after the show.
Do Elphaba's Elphaba alumni, do they all sort of tell each other like tips of how to get rid of the green paint and stuff?
Oh, there's a proper like sisterhood. There's
Really?
a proper like Elphaba sisterhood. And we kind of...
The top tips, what are the top 3 tips if anyone at home is trying a lot of green makeup on to be Elphaba, how do you get it off?
Well, you just cleanse. I think they like gave us this like really oily, really greasy stuff that you just slap on. And then you just jump in the shower and it literally just wipes off. Like I say, a little bit of green in the ears because they put it right in your ears.
Wow.
They've got a little brush, they go in
Yes.
your ears and in your hairline. I had to get rid of the bleach in my hair and stuff. But yeah, it's no white sheets. I think that's a no-no. White pillowcases are a no-no.
Yeah. I'd like to hear more about the Elphaba sisterhood. I've got this idea of like Idina Menzel setting up a WhatsApp group.
I wish. I'd be like every day, hi Adina, how are you? It's more an appreciation of how tough the role is.
Yeah.
Playing Elphaba, there's an awful lot of pressure on your shoulders. You've got these massive songs, this huge role that's very intense, and doing that 8 times a week is really tough. And I think it's just this mutual respect and understanding of what it's like to wake up every morning and go, there's no voice, and then spending your whole day kind of prepping for your evening show. And it's a lot, and there are many sacrifices, that being a massive bore because of course in my opinion it's a small price to pay for playing that role, but there's many sacrifices. I couldn't go out partying, I couldn't drink, not even a few wines, very occasionally, just because it affects my voice massively. So it's a case of just get home, get to bed, and I'm up for that. I'm all for that, to play a role like that. And I've done it before with Evita and big roles. So it is a small price to pay.
It might sound like a stupid question, but I sometimes feel like that might be my role in this podcast. Is because you never at drama school like learn how to be on a wire to do the flying bits.
No,
it's not like there's ever the wire class.
What drama school were you at? We did it once a week. Wire class.
Once a week wire class. So that first experience, I don't know if that was your first experience in Glinda or in Elphaba or in another part. That first experience where they say, and now we're going to attach you to a wire and we're going to fly you this far up. What's that like to learn, prep?
Well, I don't know. I mean, when I was in the show, I don't know how much people are even told, but we were always told, don't talk about how you fly because that's part of the magic, but it's not a wire.
Oh, really?
No, you are, let's just say, lifted up from the feet. Let's just say that.
Wow.
Interesting.
So there's loads of people on each other's shoulders lifting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just and they just stack up one at a time and lift you. It's a difficult job. So no, there's no wire. But I think the production that's just opened in Germany, I think she flies through the audience, so it's different. Yeah. But our one, no, you're lifted up from the feet. But it's still weird because it's a very small platform that you're stood on.
Yeah.
So usually you'd want to get a nice wide stance to belt out that song, and there's no time for that. And you're kind of strapped in around the waist, so there's no room to use your body.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of technical things going on.
Does doing Glinda sort of prepare you for that? Because Glinda gets a bubble, doesn't she? You get like the...
Do you know what? That was more scary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because she's up in the gods to start with, so high. So that took a bit of, I don't think I ever really got used to that, coming down from that height.
Yeah.
That's quite a lot. And if you're ever having a bit of a squiffy day, if you didn't feel quite well, being stuck up there and strapped in there, you're like, oh, please don't let me projectile vomit over the audience. That won't be good.
Wow.
Generally to be avoided.
Imagine Glinda, just imagine if that happened in that bubble.
Why did I even say that? That's just horrendous.
Good news.
Good news. No, not good news.
Oh, that is amazing. I mean, I would pay to see that. So you mentioned that you're funny, which you are very funny.
Some people disagree.
Well, let me tell you. I think you're very funny, and you were very funny. So we met when we were doing West End Does Christmas, the pandemic edition, which was very just so strange. And so I was hosting that, and Louise was one of the 4 singers, and I think normally they have about 20 singers or something, don't they? So it was so stripped back, and we had to walk in like one direction around the stage. I mean, it was crazy. I had to start the whole show by going, "You are not allowed to cheer. You must stay in your seat.
Do not have fun.
Take
do not
off
sing
your
along."
But despite all that, it was an absolutely fabulous show. And you're really funny, and I think that's what's so unique about your shows with Kerry, actually, which I've only seen little clips of, but it just looks like you're having the most fun time, and that neither of you take yourselves super serious.
Absolutely not.
And this is West End superstar Kerry Ellis we're talking about.
Yes, we've known each other since we were about 15, because the summer schools I mentioned earlier, both Kerry and I went to those together before we went and trained together for 3 years. And it's one of those things where we both kind of went in different directions, playing all these wonderful roles. And then quite a few years back now, can't remember how many, maybe, I can't remember, 2012, something like that. We did a big show at the Prince Edward Theatre together, which was our first kind of big duet show. And from that moment said, we have to do more stuff together. And then of course, time continues, and we're both very busy people, and we're both mums, and then 2 things came along pretty much at once. Our show for Raymond Gubby at the Cadogan Hall that we're doing on the 17th of December, and then our tour that we're doing together, which we are so looking forward to. But yeah, you're right, neither of us take ourselves too seriously. We're in a job that we absolutely love, and we know we're so fortunate to have a job that we love, but you just can't take yourself too seriously. In fact, when we did the Prince Edward show, I said, please can we just do like a Mickey take medley where we just rip each other to shreds and almost do impressions of each other and take the mick about, you've done that role and you haven't. And I'm like, oh, what have you played Elf about? Oh, I've done both. And then she's like, you've been in Les Mis? No. And it's just, it was a great opportunity to say, people may think that the leading ladies have that kind of cattiness, let's say, and that let's shove her down the stairs to play the role. But honestly, that has been so rare in my entire career that I've ever experienced anything like that, if ever. It's much more this kind of, like I say, sisterhood. You're kind of all supporting each other, and we're the first to text and say congratulations on this job, and messaging each other this morning on WhatsApp, and just putting our tour together, and really looking forward to that. So yeah, it will be a lot of fun. The chit chat in between songs is never too scripted. We decide what we want to talk about, and then we just go with the flow. But yeah, sometimes it's difficult to sing a very serious duet. Look straight out, just look straight out. Don't look her in the eyes. She says that I've always got like a glint in my eyes. I'm like, that. I'm sorry, I'm a very serious actress and I'm very professional. Like, I'm not giving you a glint, but she insists that I am.
Well, we used to work with this great theatre director called Ken Campbell, and he used to say, it's one thing to be funny, it's another thing to look like you might just be about to be funny, which is exactly that, to have the glint in your eye.
Sometimes I don't even know it's there, but apparently there's a naughtiness lurking.
Wait. Debbie Does Dallas, the musical.
Oh, one of my favourite jobs ever.
Okay, so, because that was in Edinburgh in 2007, the year before Showstopper was born. So I was there. You were there. Were you in Edinburgh Festival that year?
Oh, yes.
So we were all at the festival together, but I didn't know each other. Didn't know each other. Now we're best friends. So tell us about Debbie Does Dallas, because that kind of chimes with what you were saying about that you've done all the roles, the big shows and the small shows.
It was so funny. I remember I was doing Guys and Dolls on tour, and Christian Durham, who was my director, said to me, look, because I was playing Sarah Brown in Guys and Dolls.
Proper.
Yeah, proper. He said, look, this job has come in, and he obviously knew what I was like, as in an idiot backstage. And he just said, it's Debbie Does Dallas, the musical. And I was like, what? That sounds awful. He was like, read the script and have a little look. And it was so funny, because it was just so kind of suggestive and all very tongue in cheek. And it was right up my street, that kind of comedy. And, the different kinds of people that were in our audience was really fascinating.
Yeah.
Because some days we'd go out there and we had like this lovely group of, I'm sure they won't mind us saying, elderly ladies just came to see what it was all about. They were in stitches. They were absolutely loving their lives. But that was a lot of fun. And the whole experience with the festival as well is great. Just popping from one show to the next and just being a part of that whole experience is brilliant. And we had a great apartment, and we all shared, all the girls shared. And yeah, it was really, really good fun. I loved it.
Oh, that's great. Would you, because you're kind of now doing lots of concerts, so but are you sort of waiting for another role to appear, or if someone approached you with a Debbie Does Dallas type show?
Yeah, the thing is, some people think I've sort of stopped doing musicals. That's not true. But I had my little girl 4 years ago, and I knew that for sure I didn't want to do an 8-show a week production for at least a year. So concert work for me has been brilliant because I still get to perform. I get to perform a wide range of music and do the BBC proms and all over the world. It's brilliant. And it gives me time in between to just be mum. I'm at an age now where I'm kind of in the middle, if I'm being realistic.
Yeah.
I am too old for many roles and I'm too young for many roles. And yes, I get offered jobs and yes, I get offered auditions, but for me, I have to absolutely be prepared to throw myself into it 100% and not feel half-hearted about it and not think, I should do it. I suppose I'll do it. I don't want to do that. So, I mean, Wonderful Town came along, a very short run at Opera Holland Park. And I thought that will be fun and that will kind of, quench my thirst for acting again. And it was brilliant and I loved it. So yeah, it's not just about me only doing big budget musicals. I love being creative and working on small productions. It just has to be right for me, for my family life, so that I can enjoy it and never resent it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I think that's just such a great attitude to have.
Also, people think I just get my pick of jobs, and that is not true. I was having this conversation with Kerry. So people really do think we just get called up and go, have this big job, have this. And we go, no, couldn't possibly take it. But it's not. We still have to audition. It's rare. I mean, yeah, things come along and they say, would you like to do this? We'd like you to do it. But most of the time it's, you have to get back in line.
Yeah.
It's like starting all over again. I hate auditioning.
Oh, really?
I just find it terrifying.
What about online auditioning? Have you had to do that over the old lockdown? Yeah.
Kind of nice because you feel like, I'm at home and this is nice. I'm quite comfortable. But, and you're not in that scary big room with a long line of people. You're on Zoom. But no, it is nicer to be in the room, but it is just so daunting. And I just don't think it's got any easier the older I've got. I just find it, I never feel like I do my best work in an audition room ever.
Yeah, well, it's such an artificial situation, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. And I always walk out going, why did you have verbal diarrhea? Why did you just try to be funny? Why didn't you just walk in and why didn't you do what you practiced at home? And it's just all those things. I want to get in the rehearsal room.
Yeah.
And then that's when the sort of stuff comes together.
I can't disassociate when I'm in an audition room of how weird it is. I can't help but have that kind of bird's eye view of I'm stood in front of a table of people that they're like, and what song are you going to sing? Let me sing this song at you. And you can just sit and stare at me. They don't respond or anything. And then they say, thank you, bye. And you just think, I've just walked into a room and sung a song at some people.
And not moved around too much and stayed on the X mark. And what am I doing with my arms? And it's just a weird out of body experience. And why do they look so grumpy?
Yeah.
Why are they not pleased?
Why are they not smiling at me?
They hate me.
Yeah.
Why don't they love me?
And you mentioned online auditions. How was your lockdown? Did you manage to find any creative outlets?
It was obviously awful to start with and really just felt lost, as a lot of people in my industry felt, and didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It took me quite a while to get into the whole online thing. But once it started, it was like online concert after online concert. I was doing these West End Your Way, which I'm still doing actually. I did one on Saturday where people just Zoom from their lounge. I get all dressed up and put the lights behind me and sing some songs. I did workshops for new musicals, which since we've come out of lockdown, we've done live showcases. And I recorded a Lullabies album called Bedtime Baby. So I'd actually started it before lockdown. And then when we were locked down, my producer said, I guess we need to put it on hold. And I went, nah. So I've just been bought all this zhuzhy gear for Christmas. Let's learn how to use it and let's continue. So we did it. So that's probably the proudest thing, that I managed to finish an album and get that released. And also I started doing some vocal coaching, which I was asked to do years ago and sort of said, no, I don't feel, because I'm not a proper singing teacher. But then someone said to me, but it's not necessarily about that. If, it's about you giving your advice and tips and stuff that you've learned along the way. And actually, when I thought about it that way, it's about confidence building and helping people perform to their best and also the vocal stuff, which I'm proud to say I've been able to help loads of people with tips and techniques that I've learned over the years. And I'm still doing that now, and we're out of lockdown. I'm not doing it as regularly because there's not the time, but I'm still doing those lessons now, and it's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I taught all the way through improvisation online, and that's been great.
I should have joined those classes.
Yeah, before we sing a song together. Never mind.
No.
It's too late now.
Honestly, when the word improvisation comes up in a rehearsal room, it's like everything just closes up and my brain goes blank. Because especially if it's at the point where you haven't quite dug deep enough into your character.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like you're Louise Dearman. You're Louise Dearman making lines up. You're not the character. You're just Louise Dearman. You know, it's hard, really hard.
Yes, it is really hard.
So
We're
hard.
very, very talented.
Great message. Pippa always knows how to put guests at their ease before we sing the improv song. It's just this knack she has instinctively.
It is a real
because
knack.
she's so smug, because she's just so good at it.
Just so smug.
So smug.
I think it's amazing what people have come up with during lockdown. And you know, because I follow on the old Insta, which I find weird actually now this is making me feel weird actually, because I think maybe previously I haven't followed our guests for quite such a long time. So I feel like I'm asking you questions where I know the answer. You know, like when someone goes, oh, I've got a new boyfriend, and you think, I know what he looks like. He's got a moustache. Yeah.
I know about your puppy.
Yeah.
I know what you had for dinner.
Yeah.
I know what you got for your birthday.
Got no
it's all a bit weird, isn't it?
There's no news. But I think those West End concerts where where people zoom in, I think that's such a brilliant idea. And I bet so many people benefited from that who wouldn't have been able to get into town to see one of your shows, one of your concerts.
Yeah, exactly. And we've had people from all over the world. We had people zoom in from, you know, the Philippines and just all over the place. And it's lovely. And also they get a bit of one-to-one time.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you meet someone at stage door, you've got a line of people to say hi to, and it's very often very short and sweet, because you're like, I've got a train to get, I'm so sorry. And I'm constantly apologising because I live miles away. But you know, they get to just sit there for half an hour or an hour and ask whatever they want, and it's one-to-one time. And then, you know, they can request a song, or we'll just give them a concert, and they love it. So I think it will just continue, even though it doesn't have to. And it's nice for us as performers to, quite frankly, get out of your pajamas, get in a glitzy dress, pop a face on, and also keep your voice going, because that is difficult. When you have nothing to work towards, you forget to kind of work your voice and keep it strong. And trust me, it gets lost pretty quick.
Tell me this. Louise Dearman. Just me remembering how to interview people.
You said you were feeling rusty, Pippa. I didn't hear any of this.
How was the setup? Because I think a lot of performers, myself included, were put off the tech side of the Zoomy stuff, because say Andrew Pugsley, Mr. Man here, is really good at tech. So, I mean, first of all, he got pretty much every single member of Showstopper being like, Andrew, if I need to set up a microphone, what would I buy? What would I do? So lucky him. But just that thing, how did you approach that? Did you just ring up a sound engineer friend, or did you leave it for a bit? Or
it was awful. So I said to my boyfriend, I need to do some more recordings from home. Everyone seems to be doing it. So for Christmas, he just bought me the whole shebang, and I didn't have a clue, and I'm really bad with technology. I do even with my phone, I'm like emails and texts and WhatsApp. That's about it. Just dreadful. And I called my friend Lois, who I saw had done loads of videos and recordings. I was like, what am I doing? And bless her, she spent a long time trying to explain to me how to work GarageBand, and then how to do the video, and then link it up to your audio, all of that stuff. And now I am a whiz. But do you know what? For the first few days of learning to use my mic, I called her and I said, something's wrong. Like, I've done everything you've told me to do, and it sounds really tinny and thin, and I don't know why I've done everything. I've set it, I've popped reverb on. She said, what mic have you got? And she sort of Googled it and came back and said, you're not singing into the back of the microphone, are you? Well, absolutely not. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I was singing into the back.
Oh, I love
So as soon as I turned it around, I was like, whoa, yeah, I've got that sound all right. That sounds okay here. So it took me ages, really slow. And even now, every now and then I've forgotten how to export file and do all that. But I've got better. So it's been quite an experience learning all the technique. I could probably be a sound engineer now.
Probably.
No, nobody asked me to be a sound engineer. I really don't know what I'm doing.
You talked about the fact that you're in the middle space, that I'm not young enough to play the princesses and not old enough to play the old ladies.
Yeah.
What would be what would be the older lady part that you might be like, that's the one I want to get?
I mean, listen, if Wicked's still around, I'm going to pop in for a little Madame Horrible. Mama Rose, of course.
Oh, yeah. That would be amazing.
I mean, there are tons. For me, it's kind of weird because I love a challenge and I almost want to do some roles where I don't burst into song.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love to do a play or some telly or something that just proves to be a different kind of challenge. I love singing, like it's absolutely my biggest passion, but I also love acting and I would love to do something a bit different for me. So I've had to do a few self-tapes recently just for acting jobs, which has been really, don't talk about the technical stuff with that, getting the lighting right and all of that shebang, but really enjoyable. So talking about what comes next and what I'd like to do and all of that, I'd love to do some straight acting as well.
Would you like to improvise a song with us?
Oh no, the real answer is absolutely no, thank you.
Should we do what's it called? Meet cute?
Like lovers meeting for the first time.
Oh, okay.
What's the location? Where are we meeting?
Maybe in like the office or something.
Yeah, great. An office meet cute.
His lunchbox, and I can see him making a coffee, and I think there's a mug I'd like to touch.
And she walks into the photocopier and presses those buttons so sublime. See him across my computer screen. Oh, I want her as my manager. I want her to tell me what to do. 'Cause listen, I just want to be managed by you. I want an office love. I want to sneak up at the lunch break. Said I want an office love. I want him to be my mate. Office love. I want an office love. I want an office love. I want an office love. And my office love is you.
That was literally the most amazing song I've ever heard in my life. From someone who, I think I remember your outro being, "Don't judge me." Well, I think they're all going to judge you as bloody brilliant. Thank you so much for coming, Louise. What have you got coming up that our wonderful listeners can come and watch you in?
Oh, very exciting. I'm at the Liverpool, I'm with the Liverpool Philharmonic on the 6th of November, singing the music of Sondheim. Where am I? I'm on the 5th of December. I'm with Oliver Thompson, the wonderful Oliver Thompson, at the Capitol in Horsham. Then on the 17th of December, I'm at the Cadogan Hall with Kerry Ellis. Whoop,
Hello.
whoop. Then check out Raymond Gubby for their sing-along concerts. I'll be at the Royal Festival Hall and the Cadogan Hall with those. And then I'm going on tour with Kerry Ellis. We're doing a duet show on tour next year. So check out starsofthewestend.co.uk for your tickets. We'll be going all over the UK.
That was Louise Dearman.
Oh my God. She was so great. And I knew she'd be great because she is a brilliant human being. But even when you know someone's going to be great, they can still amaze you with their greatness.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, how nervous improvising makes people, even amazing people like her.
Yeah, especially what we like to say when we teach our courses is, particularly to musical theatre students, we say what we're doing is using the skills you already have in the moment. So someone like Louise Dearman, who's done all these roles, has all this musical theatre skill in her, singing, dancing. She knows the world of musical theatre. So all we're saying is just sort of summon that up in the moment, which is why she's so brilliant, because she just relaxed into this amazing song.
Pippa, that is this month's episode of the Showstopper podcast, but people can find us on all of our social media platforms, can't they?
Yes, they can. They can find us on Twitter at The Showstoppers. They can find us on Instagram at Showstopper Musical. They can find us on Facebook /The Showstoppers. And of course, you can come to our website, old school style, showstopperthemusical.com.
Absolutely. We'll be doing some more dates at the Lyric Theatre sort of every month until we die.
Yes, probably till we die.
And we're also touring the UK, so have a look. Come and see us. Also, could you give us a little review on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts?
Yeah, maybe go some of those delicious stars. Maybe 5 of those delicious stars would be nice.
Yeah, send us a message on any of our social platforms. Tell us what you thought of Louise Dearman and, who else you'd like to see on the podcast. Okay, I think that's all we usually say.
I think that's how we end the show.
All right, bye.
Bye.